Hi, welcome to Let's Get Acquainted. And today I have a very special guest with me, Ms. Jill Jacobs Reynolds. It's going to be exciting to talk to her. This being the National Month of Hope. And her whole thing right now, what the Lord is dealing with her with and promoting out into the world is hope, health, and healing. So this is going to be an exciting time to her experience of hope and what she thinks about it and all that she has to say. So join me, come on in, share the broadcast out. Let me know where you're coming in from by putting in the comments a quick hello and where you're from so I can shout you out. I'm here from Chicago, and when Jill comes in, she'll let us know where she's coming in from. So basically, this is Let's Get Acquainted, and we're here, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and again, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And so, again, come on in, share it out, and then make sure that you participate in the conversation. If we say something that you had a thought about it, put it in the comments so that we can bring up your comment and help add to this discussion on tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my guests. And we have with us, hey, Jill.
Hi, Hillary. Thanks so much for having me tonight. It's such a pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Yes, I'm excited to have you on. She had me on her podcast, and that was good. That was our first time really having a conversation, and that's what this show is all about. So and that's what we do. We help each other to grow. We can, as I go up, she goes up, and vice versa. We all go up. That's what hope is all about too. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I got interested. I wanted to promote something that was happening for the month. So, you can go on this app and look up everything that's happening for each month. And I saw that there was a National Month of Hope for
Wow.
April. But the crazy thing is it's been going on for 30 years. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. I'm so grateful you brought it to our attention.
Yes, it's been going on for 30 years. And I got so excited, went on the website, and I started reading all about I wanted to know who started this and how long has it been around and what's going on. And as I delved in, I saw a young lady named Dr. Tompkins. And I said, oh, okay, she looks kind of young, but this thing been going 30 years that she started. She's looking good. And so I said, let me go to her Facebook page. When I got to her Facebook page, her business page for the National Month of Hope, she was live doing her broadcast about, let's go in and let's celebrate this month. And everybody had their little flyers and everything going on. They were celebrating. And so guess what? She's going to be our final guest for this month. So I'm excited about that. But
that'll be amazing.
Yeah, so she initially brought it up because it's a group of women that are moms. I think it says moms in crisis. There are so many moms that have lost their children, to so many different kind of events. Sometimes it's with the way that it's happening so much, sometimes it starts to hit a little close to home. You say, oh, well, it hasn't touched my family, But when it happens so much, sometimes it's a cousin, a niece, a nephew, they can really be, make you want to do something. And that's what they did. That's how they kind of got started. And this was an offshoot of that. So what do you think when it comes to, when something is happening on a large scale and people start to come together, what are your thoughts about, people coming together on a common crisis?
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I think it's so important at this time right now in the world that we join together even more so, Hillary, because, with the isolation that's taken place in the world with the COVID epidemic and everything, I just feel now more than ever we need to band together. I just interviewed a girl today, in fact, who her son has been suffering with a horrific illness, debilitating, that nobody has a cure for yet. And she's been to over 300 doctors. And, when I heard her story today, it resonated for what you're saying is when we hear story of someone suffering, what do we do with that information? Do we just take it in and go, oh, here's someone who's suffering? Or do we band together as a community and go, wow, there has to be more that can be done.
Yeah.
There has to be. Because, Hillary, I truly believe that the church is supposed to be the hope of the world. That's what it was founded on. The church bands together, and I won't go political on any of us, but it was never supposed to be the government is the hope of the world.
Right.
It's supposed to be the church. So if that's the way the world was created by God, that the church, his bridegroom is supposed to be the hope of the world, then why do we have people in our churches who are hurting so bad and we're not banding together with them today? That just hurts my heart, and it has to hurt God's heart too.
Yeah. And then, like you say, in light of this pandemic, it's made it even uh, uh, a harder situation because of the isolation and people not being able to come together even on Sundays. Like we were talking in your connection circle, I think that was just last night, about Easter. And there were a lot of churches that still didn't come together just because it was Easter either.
Yeah.
They were still online. And I thank God for the online. That's why we're here. That's why we're able to do this in different places, But it's nothing like being able to come together to fellowship, And so again, anything that's gonna, where we can be a help to somebody else. That's what this whole, I think, that's what has happened during this pandemic for a lot of people, is to make you think outside of yourself and what you can do. And,
and I think that's why, Hillary, right at the beginning of the pandemic, God had shared with me, Jill, I want you to start doing podcast shows to connect leaders with others so that they have a platform to share their companies, because many of them don't have marketing budgets. And so, so then I felt like, okay, let me help leaders to get their message out there for free and do a podcast. And then I felt that God was sharing with me, Hillary, but what about the audience that needs to connect? And so then he led me into doing a free connection circle twice a month on the first and the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And anybody is welcome to join that by going to the Connection Circles Facebook page. They have to go to that page, Hillary, only for one reason, is I have to have their email in order to let them in, because I just don't want, someone coming in and taking over the Zoom. So, it's a nice group. Hillary, you were on it last night, and people really connect, and it's just a wonderful platform for people to feel welcome.
Yeah, I enjoyed the time that I was able to stay in and participate in everything, and that's what we want to get those that are participating that's on here with us right now. Let's go and just say a quick hello and see who we have here. And so we have with us Camille. Hey, Camille.
I love my Camille. I love you, Camille. You're the best ever.
Yes,
I love you.
Love you. And she says, hello, ladies. Fabulous Camille Robb from Florida. And Jill, where are you coming in from?
I'm from Branson, Missouri right now, Hillary. I used to live in the Chicagoland suburbs close to you. And now I'm in the beautiful Ozark Mountains with lakes and mountains and just breathtaking beauty. And the cool thing is that my friend Hillary, who I just adore, and her mom are going to come to Branson in August, for August 20th to August 22nd. and we are going to do a Hope,
Oh, wait a minute, that's the
Health,
wrong one.
and Healing Conference. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
yes, there it is. Hope, Health, and Healing Conference Retreat. It would be like a retreat for many people, just being able to travel for the first time, getting away. And Miss Camille, she not only just got away to another state, she got on out of this country and traveled a little bit and took us along with her with her little pictures and video clips that I enjoyed.
Well,
So I'm looking forward.
one thing that to talk about for you, Hillary, too, that I just found out yesterday is I had to get some blood tests done. So I was at the hospital at the registration desk, and the guy checking me in, of course, we had our masks on. And I said, I bet you can't wait until May, because in May, supposedly, if all goes well, mandates for masks will be gone in Branson in May.
Mm,
And I said, I bet you can't wait. And he goes, oh, you have no idea. And he says, good news. We just discharged our last COVID patient today. So in Branson,
oh,
there's no
good.
one in the hospital with COVID.
Yeah.
And we're opening up everything. And it's beautiful, because I really do feel like things are calming down. I know people are still scared in some areas, but I really feel safe in Branson here. And it's just amazing. We had spring break here in Branson last week,
Mhm.
and the town was packed to the rims. And
Oh, wow.
it's people are coming out again, and it's so fun because, who doesn't want to get in the water and splash around and have laughter and connection again? I'm just so
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. And so this is going to be a great time. If you're interested in coming to this retreat, to this conference, it's a 3 day, 21st, 22nd, there in Branson. You can go to this link to register at www.braveheartworkshops.com. And all the information, all the details, has put it all together, make it easy to understand right there at www.braveheartworkshops.com.
And if I
So,
and if I may just for a second, Hillary,
mhm, mhm,
share that the Lord laid it upon my heart to do this event. And
mhm,
what he shared with me, Hillary, is that hope. He shared he wanted me to do this so that we can spread hope in the world, in him, hope in God. Sometimes people haven't even have any idea really who God is yet. And so I felt like he's leading us to bring hope in the world and bring people to him
mhm.
as a resting place, and then health within our bodies, for the Holy Spirit to roam freely within our bodies, and then the healing of our spirit, mind, and body. And I know you do a lot in this area of hope, health, and healing, Hillary.
Yes, absolutely. That's, my whole thing is you got the power to help your body help you live a more vibrant life. To have more vibrant health is to have a more vibrant life, you know. And there are so many things that we can do that are easy, natural, and drug free. And if you heard me say it once, you'll hear me say it again and again and again, because it's what I absolutely believe and know that, the things that I promote as a lymphologist, as a vibrant life coach, this real help that can make a difference. And that's what people are looking for today. So many people are they don't want to lose hope, but for some it's been really difficult.
That's what hope is
We
all
want
about.
to say to whoever, if it's been hard for you,
There's so many people
to
are.
be a part, to reach out outside of yourself and ask for help. Somebody said that they have help. Jill has help. I have help. And there's so many people that we are helping to bring forth, even on our shows, that have help. Reach out outside of yourself, because there's no need to suffer alone. The thing that we have to do, and Jesse Jackson, I'll tell you, it's like I'm bringing that slogan back that Jesse Jackson used to say back. I think it was in the '70s. Keep hope alive. Do you remember that?
I do, and I think it's so important to keep hope alive. I think
Hope
I,
alive.
yeah, and it is, and what uncanniness that they created a hope month. That
Yeah.
we need a whole month. Is it a month or a week? Is it a month or a week?
This is a national month of hope for the
So,
month.
so if you think about that for just a minute, Hillary, that
Mhm.
someone created a whole month of needing to reintroduce us to hope again.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a key part of survival is to have
Mm.
hope.
Yeah, because what the Bible says that hope is the evidence of things not yet seen. Doesn't mean it's not going to come. It just hasn't come yet. And you have to find ways to hold on till it comes to whatever that thing is that you're hoping for, and connect it to your faith. And sometimes in the dark hours is when it's the hardest to hold on. People do things to harm themselves because they feel like there is no hope in those dark hours. And you want to, that's like my mother, she has a show called The Midnight Cry. That comes on Fridays at 11:30 at night to 12:30 in the morning, just to help some people that may be struggling in the late hours of the day. I'm on in the evening, you're on in the evening. But when it gets later, sometimes it's harder. What do you think about that?
I think that's a beautiful concept your mom's doing to love on people and how old is your mom? Just to say, do you mind?
She don't like to tell her age.
Okay. Well, she's a very senior, lovely woman, but to know
Mhm.
that this woman who has the biggest heart for God is
Mhm.
staying up in the wee hours of the night just for you to love on you and
Mhm.
and sharing about loving on people, Hillary. I think it would be great if people are listening tonight on this show right now. Please put
Mhm.
in the comments section if any of you right now are experiencing a sense of hopelessness, because we would love to intercede and connect with you and bring hope to you, because it's so important not to be home alone and feel despair and the loneliness and the anxiety and depression that it comes to. And so if you feel hopelessness in your life in any area, reach out to us because we're here to encourage you. Wouldn't you agree, Hillary?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the young lady, Dr. Tompkins, that founded this month of hope. Her vision is to also just make people to reach out to others. To help empower somebody else. If you
Mhm.
have hope that's strong in you, share that. Share yourself with somebody else that needs it, to help somebody else to be empowered. Because again, we know that we don't need these kind of how can you say, acknowledgments, or we don't need hope for just a month. We
Well,
need it
and
for
and I just and I
365 days.
yeah, as you're saying that, Hillary, I just had an idea. As you're on social media this month, and a lot of us are, as
Mhm.
you're on social media, let's be mindful this whole month to look at posts where somebody makes a comment of despair or act or make something like a need, and instead of just reading it and passing over it, what would it be like if every one of us on the show tonight watching would pause when they hear someone have a need and you private message them and reach out and say, I saw your post and it seemed like you needed some hope today. And I just wanted you to know I'm here for you. Would you like to have a conversation on Zoom? Would you like to connect? Because I just think so many times, Hillary, don't you, that people are in their home and they're lonely, and like your mom's show. And
Mhm.
at that moment, they want someone to reach out to them.
Mhm. Yeah, and that is something that we can do. Where a lot of people are just scroll, 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 scroll. Like you said, stop and connect. Stop and connect, and we would be surprised how something as simple as saying, "I saw your post. I'm praying for you." You know what that would do for the person that needed it. let alone being able to do even more meaningful connection beyond that. So that's a great idea.
Well,
Great.
and even so, Hillary, I mean, that's the purpose. And that's why I think you said yes, because you have such a heart of gold, is why we're doing this conference, is so that we can share our stories of, pain and struggles and suffering in our life. We're going to share that at the conference in hope that when you hear our stories, and our stories then just don't stay at, oh, my life was hard here, here, and there, because everyone's had pain in their life. If you've ever been breathing a breath of air, you've had pain in your life. So if a story that you hear connects with you, we have hope that that too will bring you hope, health, and healing in your life. So that's the purpose of this event. We're not going to be doing a lot of teaching. It's going to be really connecting story with
Mhm.
you, the audience, in hopes that you can find more hope, health, and healing and renewal in your own lives.
Yeah. And I'm one that have always loved to hear other people's stories. You know, whether I'm looking at a movie that's talking about a real life person or reading a book or article of some kind, it's always been so inspiring, that if God brought them through that situation, or maybe they didn't even know God, but they talk about how they made it through. Those made it through stories need to be told. Our made it through stories need to be told, because there's always somebody else that's in that same spot and they haven't made it through yet.
Yeah, and those are my favorite. I don't know about you, but those are my favorite movies on TV and books. I
Mhm.
mean, I one of my all-time favorite movies is Rudy, and how he made it to Notre Dame and got to play one play on
Yeah.
the football team. And I love Blindside, where I love true stories. They go
Mhm.
to my heart,
Yeah.
and yeah, they just touch me in a whole different way.
Hmm. So tell us, since this is Let's Get Acquainted. Before you do, but just think about it. How how did you get started in all of this? You weren't always on social media. You weren't always, Bravehearts, or how did Bravehearts even come about? I'd like to hear a little bit about that, but I want to give these other comments up here, and we thank God for Camille. And I know she shared it, but she was saying here, wow, I didn't know that. And I think she was referring to that this is the National Month of Hope. Yes, and then this is a bit when we have to know. You said this is her birthday month, so happy birthday!
Happy
Whichever day it is, you're gonna
birthday.
be celebrating it all month long. So
Yeah.
happy birthday! We celebrate you. And then she said, "Yes, we have to help each other, and that's why God put us in this earth, so we wouldn't be alone, so we would help each other. That's why He made us all humans, you know. And that's when you see little kids and they get along just so great before the other stuff start happening as they grow older, and other influences start to them and all of that. Before then, kids just want to have fun, and they don't
Yeah.
even pay attention to all of the differences, because there's so many ways that we're alike.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many ways we're alike. And here Camille says, "Love you too, Jill Jacobs."
Mhm.
And she says, "Thank you for our birthday greetings."
My Camille, please come to Branson in August, because I have to meet you in person and do water aerobics with you and have a dance party. We got to dance, Camille, and you bring joy to life. I need you
Yes,
here.
fabulous. I just love it. Fabulous, Camille. So you're going to tell us a little bit about you.
Hmm.
Just a little bit. We don't have to talk, because I know I've heard your whole story that you shared, otherwise on another platform. And I
Mhm.
was there from the beginning to the end listening to it. But just a little bit about yourself. This is Let's Get Acquainted.
Well,
Sure.
I'll give you the real shortened version. So The shortened version, Hillary, is I grew up in a very, very abusive, dysfunctional family. Lots of emotional, physical, sexual pain and suffering. And um, and as a result, and I'm not going to say it's anyone's fault, I ended up utilizing different types of addictions to get through my emotional pain. So I became a crack cocaine addict, an alcoholic, a codependent, a promiscuous, and then went into eating disordered behavior. And so through all of that pain and suffering over at least a good 10-year part of my life, I had an amazing experience where I returned to God. I had been raised in the church growing up. My father took us to Catholic Mass every single Sunday. But I had a spiritual awakening as a result of the pain and suffering. And God took hold of me like I can't believe. And I want to say within about a 6-month period of time, completely delivered me of my crack cocaine addiction. And back in those days, Hillary, I didn't even know I was a crack cocaine addict. I thought I was, in those days in the 70s, we used to call it freebasing. And so it called a different name back then. And so he took hold of me. But in the midst of it, right at the time he took hold of me, I got pregnant and I was going to abort. And in the 11th hour, I got convicted and I had my son. And my son has been the joy of my life. I adore him and I love my 3 grandkids. And through being a single mom, I had to be the breadwinner. So I started my career first in radio advertising, and then I went into air freight and truck shipping for 15 years. And then when the very first multifunctional copiers hit the streets that could print, scan, and fax, I sold those for 15 years to companies and was highly, highly successful. And then I got to a place, Hillary, where I just was so burnt out with learning technology. And I just had a passion for hospitality. So I went back to school and got my certification in meeting and event planning. And I got a job at a management company that placed me in hotels that were in receivership. And my whole job was that I had to go into that property and turn over the sales and make them profitable so the hotels could sell. So my very first hotel, Hillary, I ended up increasing the sales in 12 months by 42%. And it's unheard of. If you can increase sales by 12%, that's lucky. And I just had a passion for it. And then one day I ended up going to O'Hare Airport to pick up my sister, who was flying back to Chicago on a rainy night. And at O'Hare Airport, I pulled my car into the curb and she couldn't get her suitcase in. So I got out of my car to help her pull it in. And as I did, I leaned inside of my car to lift up the suitcase. And as I was bent over, a van driving along curbside smashed at 30 miles an hour into my car door. And my body flew to the left while the car was still moving. And so I had 2 new knees put in, a new hip, and it damaged my spine. And I kept trying to work in pain for 2 years, but it was excruciating. It was horrible pain. And so I had to go on disability. And I cried at the disability office, Hillary, because I'm like, I don't want to be disabled. And so at that point, I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do? Just sit at home and feel sorry for myself? Because it's really hard for me to walk more than a block or 2 as a result of the disability. And so what God did is he gave me the vision to start Braveheart workshops and hire a world-renowned drama therapist to do these intensive burden release retreats. And we've had 7 of them, and over 80 people have healed from horrific pains in their life. And then when COVID hit, we had to cancel everything. So God kind of rebranded me and said, what I shared a little bit before. He said, Jill, now do these podcast shows to help leaders. Now do the connection circles. And now I use the word he's making me. And now he's encouraging me. He encouraged me to do the virtual event I did in March. And now
Yeah,
he's
that was
saying to
great.
do a live conference. So it's kind of weird. It's like coming full circle, and he's just creating new things for me to do so I don't sit at home and feel sorry for myself. So
Yes,
it's
and
a new hope.
yes, a new hope in all of what you went through. And it sounds, like all of the reasons, or not excuses, but all of the reasons for feeling hopeless presented themselves in many ways.
Mm-hmm. They
you know,
did.
to you. But you just, didn't want to do that and didn't want to be that way. And God heard you. He not only just heard the words out of your mouth, but he heard your heart,
Yeah,
and
he
know that
did,
there were
because
many more
I
connections to be made.
yeah, I could have sat at home and felt angry at the person who hit me. And I mean,
Mm,
I felt bad enough, Hillary, because I think you've gotten to know me real well. When
yeah.
she hit me, I remember pounding on her window, and because she didn't even know she was hitting me, so she kept hitting my car, and I was being dragged. And so when she stopped, I went up to her window, and my first words out of my mouth were, "Why did you hurt my car? You are so stupid. Why did you do this?" And afterwards, I said, "Please forgive me for calling you stupid." I said, "I just bought my first car. I've never owned a new car. I've always had used cars. And it
Yeah.
was my first, Hillary, it was my first new car, and it was only 3 months old. And
What kind of car was it?
it was a Nissan Maxima, and I didn't even have more than, I think I had 2,000 miles on it. And my
Mm,
car door was hanging off, and I kept saying, "You hurt my car." And the police are going, "Are you hurt?" And I'm going, "No, my car's hurt." And I didn't even know I was hurt until the next day, Hillary, because I was so worried about my car.
yes, Lord, I know. I was in a car accident once, and the car ended up being totaled. And when I was on the expressway, and the people that pulled up to see if I was okay, if I was alive, actually. And when I started moving, I saw them go, like, took a sigh of relief, and when I was able to get out of the car, I too was thinking about my car, and I was like, because I used to call my car the Cougar. I had a Cougar. I forget who it was made by, but I had a Cougar, and I used to call me and the Cougar. And I was thinking, I said, "Oh my God, he took my car. He took my car," talking about Jesus, the Lord, because he had given me a word that me and the Cougar would not be long together. And I
Ah,
thought, "Oh, I must be getting a new car. I didn't know I was going to be in a car accident that was going to cause us to have a separation there." But yeah,
mm.
it's amazing, but it's nothing like hope. We can talk about it and laugh about it, but hope is what sees you through those difficult times, those times when you want to give up and you want to quit. You say, "I know I was called to do this, but it's too hard. It's not working like I thought it should work. It's not working like somebody else's is working." You know, and it
Well,
can.
and you know what I didn't share, that going into that hope. So when I had my son Jeremy, I was 28 years old, and I did not meet my now husband until Jeremy was 10. And I remember those 10 years, Hillary, feeling like, will there ever be anyone who will ever want me and love me enough to marry me and give my son a father figure, because his dad wasn't in the picture.
Yeah.
And I went through those dark years sometimes of feeling hopeless and just thinking God had forgotten me and that I'd be left with no
Yeah.
spouse. And it wasn't until I surrendered and stopped worrying if I'd find a husband. And I went to a codependence retreat weekend with 30 people. And I'll never forget this. I walked in the door at the registration, and as soon as I turned the corner, Larry was sitting there. And I said to the Lord, I said, "Now, Lord, I'd love to meet someone who's as handsome as this with the big blue eyes." not knowing that a year
He
later,
was the one.
in 7 years, we dated 7 years, and then we got married when my son was 17. But I really had that feeling in my spirit that I was forgotten by God. He had forgotten me, and I wouldn't have a husband.
Yeah,
And I think people
yeah,
go through that. I think we sometimes in our singleness, we go through those feelings that we've been forgotten.
yeah. Because I've been single a long time myself, but I thank God. There's a part of me until I want to just acknowledge Camille. She says you came a long way, and you are a very strong person. And then she was saying, yes, yes, a new hope. And that's what's so good with about hope. It can be renewed. It can be renewed and realigned as the Lord sees fit for where we are now versus where we are when we came into this journey, whatever your journey is. And this is really, uh, it's just a strong word there. God will never, never will He leave you.
Mm-mm.
No matter who you are, He will not leave you. If it feels like God left, it wasn't Him that moved away.
Yep.
But we have to always just keep it 100, keep it real, because He promised, and His promises are what? Yay and amen.
Yep.
Meaning it is what it is, and He's not going to turn on that. And over this time of that I've been single for a long time, and it seems like it's like, Lord, there's so many things that I want to see happen aside from that, you know. And then I started thinking, well, I need to be open to it, because a part of me just kind of not focused on it because I want to see so many other things happen in my life. But then I'm like, well, maybe that might be a key part of what He wants. But I guess if He knows I want it, then He'll want it for me too, so to speak. You have to be
Well,
open to all that God has for you.
if God wants you to have a man, I guess this is the show tonight. If anyone's listening that's single and a good-looking guy for Hillary, God's saying, "Come to here, come to Hillary."
All right, Jill.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah,
You never know, right? That might be the
you
message.
never know, and you have to be open
Yeah.
to whatever it is God has, because sometimes even in business, in ministry, it calls you to pivot, cause things that make you just do an about face,
Hmm.
totally different than anything you ever thought you were going to do, in your life. Have you ever had moments that you felt that way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I love
That God
Camille.
is always
God's working
working.
on us. Hey, Camille,
Yeah.
should we pray up a man for Hillary? I got it. I love you, Hillary. And for those of us who know you, we
Yeah.
know that you're a prime catch for anybody because you are just, your heart is of gold. And we know that because we know you.
Yeah. And I always say, I'm somebody to know. I'm somebody to know.
You
But
are. You are somebody to know. You are.
he said, yeah,
And
yeah,
Camille says yes and an amen.
yeah,
Yes and amen.
that's right. So I'm just, is there anything else you want to share? Let's see, you talked about uh, all of the different like drugs and stuff. I had a moment in my life where I did dabble in some drug use, mainly because of the men that I was dating at the time. If they did something, I tried it, But if
Mhm.
I had to spend my money on it, well then, that kind of
I guess
situation.
I'll share one piece that I think will give people hope, okay?
Yes,
Um,
that's what we're talking about tonight. Keep
yeah,
hope alive.
right. And I think this is a really important story to share. So, with all the abuse that I grew up in, I ended up one year in San Diego. I met a man I was waitressing, and three guys came in, and the one man asked me out on a date. And so I went out with him, and he had told me he owned a local bar in San Diego. Well, it
Hmm.
turned out that the local bar he owned was one of the most, and I know this sounds like an oxymoron to say, but he said he owned one of the most exclusive, high class, if there could be such a word, strip joints in San Diego with naked dancers.
Mhm.
And so I thought, the first thought I thought is, oh, that's horrible, disgusting. He goes, it's not what you think, Jill. So we went there, Hillary, to find out that even Miss Nude World worked there, and the most
Mm.
gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life worked there. And most of them were actually college graduates, professional nurses and therapists who were making extra money to
Yeah.
survive. But this is what I discovered. I discovered later, because I ended up working there, that the majority of the people who dance for a living and I've come to know populations now of prostitution, they end up in that arena because they have a sense of empowerment over the opposite sex. So if a woman's been sexually abused
Mm,
and
yeah.
they end up dancing or acting out with prostitution, it's been a result usually of some sexual abuse, and they feel empowered because they can entice, but the person can't touch. And so I
Right.
wanted to share this on this Let's Get Acquainted, because I believe there's hope out there for those of us who have been abused, to know that there's other ways of receiving healing and hope than having to utilize ourselves in a situation of having to act out
Yeah.
in inappropriate manners that can damage us. And so sometimes, I've been even around Christians who will judge those who do that kind of work. Like, how could anyone do this? Well, instead of how could anyone do this, what would it be like if we took a step back and sat in their shoes like Jesus sat in the shoes?
Mhm.
Remember when
Mm.
Jesus washed his disciples' feet? He sat in their
Right.
shoes. And so, what would happen if we sat in another person's shoes and instead of judging them, came alongside them to hear their story, and we connected the dots to say, aha, maybe
Yeah.
that is why you ended up this way. So, I think it's imperative, let's get acquainted, to help each other with hope.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. While you were talking, it reminded me of Camille said, "God is the judge," and that's absolutely true. Um, I find myself praying, Lord, let me see whoever I'm praying for, or whatever situations that I'm praying for. Allow me to see as though looking through your eyes.
Mhm.
And I was in a conference some years ago, a intercessory prayer warriors from around the world, and it was this man from India, and he was telling the story of he was at a meeting, and he was after the meeting, after he had spoken, people coming up wanted to shake his hand or have him to say something to him or whatever, and it was one lady that came to him, and I guess she didn't look all put together, and he was, and she just was trying her best to see him, and he was just like not paying her any attention, but looking at all the other people that were coming that looked more put together. You know, he was
Mhm.
judging,
Yeah.
and he said while someone was talking to him, it's like the Lord got a hold of him, spirit, like how he can quicken you where you're
Mhm.
there but you're not there.
Yep.
And he said the Lord showed him, he said, I want you to see her as I see her. And he said it was like I was standing behind the Lord, sort of behind him, in him. He said, I can't explain it, but it's
Mhm.
like I was looking through his eyes. And he said, when I saw the lady through his eyes, he said, I had such compassion. My heart just so went out to her. And he said, and it's like he came back, into this natural realm, and he turned to the lady and began to just give her the time that she deserved too. You know, he said, my
Well,
heart was just so,
and she became the most beautiful queen he probably ever saw,
you
because
know,
she then became that resurrected woman in
yes,
God's eyes. And so it didn't matter if she was in rags, because in
yeah,
Jesus's eyes, she looked like a divine queen in
yes.
Jesus's eyes.
And that's this whole thing, like you say, Black Lives Matter. Everybody I mean, I believe Black Lives Matter, but just in that sense, when we're Christians and when you're connecting with people, or when you're in leadership, or uh, people look up to you, people watching your story, watching you live out your story, you know, and sometimes people feel like they know you because they see you so much or whatever. But I have just found that that's just a prayer that I pray all the time, wanting to not miss opportunities to love on people, because it's just the right thing to do, and
Yeah.
not be that one to cause more harm to
Yeah.
somebody that's looking for to be seen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know if I said that eloquently
No, it's
enough.
not. I understand. I agree
Yeah,
with you. In fact, my former church made some yard signs a couple of years back that said, um, it was, I think it was love everyone, or love everyone, everyone matters, or something. And
yeah,
we all had them in front of our yard sign, love
yeah,
everyone. And I remember the story of, in the neighborhood where our church was, there was a Muslim family. And they went back, and there was this big banner in front, love everyone always. That's what it said, love everyone
mhm.
always. And she went past this sign, and she had always gone past the church. It was a big mega church in Chicago, Willow Creek
Oh
Community
yeah,
Church.
hmm,
And she had gone past it a million times. And on this particular week, she went past it and pulled in and came to church and said, I live right behind your church and I go past here. But when you had that sign, love everyone always, it made me drawn to want to come and see who you guys are, to see
hmm,
if, even though I'm not a Christian, you would still love me.
yeah,
And it was amazing because she felt that compassion coming from us at the church that she
yes,
to seek and know God.
yes. And so, hope and love is connected. It's
Hmm.
totally connected. Whether you're loving yourself, you're loving others, it helps to fuel hope
Hmm.
from where I stand,
Yeah.
and so I just make it a thing to try to love people. Like my apostle says, my mom, she used to say, love because it's right.
Yeah.
And I
Just
never
love.
forgot that. That was a long time ago, but we glean nuggets along the way that we can live by. And when we need to be reminded of it, is there. And maybe we need to share it, like tonight. We're sharing it with those that are listening. We're sharing it with those that are replay viewers, that will be replay viewers, to know that love and hope are connected. And you can keep hope alive. Just hold on to it, because whatever your dream is, whatever your destiny, your desires are, if they haven't happened yet, if God's promised you something, it will surely come to pass if you faint not,
Hmm.
right? If you
Yeah.
faint not, we're the ones that have to hold on and hold on to God's unchanging hand, and
And
that's holding on to hope.
and
I love it.
as far as like getting acquainted too, Hillary, I'll close with saying that as people are listening tonight, as people share with you in your life, always listen and look for the similarities in their story
Yes.
instead of the differences. Because sometimes we'll hear someone's story and say, wow, I never happened that to me. So my story is probably not that important because, I've had people sometimes say, well, I didn't live in a family that there was physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And so my story is not that big or that important to share. Well, your story is your story. And so whenever someone shares story with you, my encouraging, hopeful words are to just look for nuggets of similarities along the way instead of the differences. Because I think when we look at the differences, Hillary, it keeps us even that much more separated instead of connected.
Yeah. I have a exercise that I've done with groups, like a icebreaker, to have people, to you break them up into groups, right? And then you get them to write down, get somebody to be the one that's the scribe of that particular group, to write down, to talk. This force people to communicate and to have conversation of what 10 things that you have in common besides a head, arms, legs. We're not talking about those things, but what things 10 things that you have in common. And each time that I've done that, it's so interesting. They don't want to come out of the discussion like, okay, this discussion has to end, because they find out, man, even though we're all different, we can connect. Again, we talked about connecting. We can connect on so many different levels. We have more in common than we take time to know.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I thank you so much for being on here tonight. I want to go ahead and share about the August retreat conference. And that is, let me get it up here.
Yeah, as you're bringing it up, it's August 20th to the
Yes.
22nd, and it's just so people know, it's only $84 for 3 days of a conference, a
Yes.
three-day conference. We have about 15 speakers. Hillary's going to be one of them, and we have praise and worship. We have communion, and it's going to be just an amazing event. And also, it's going to be at the King's Castle Theater in Branson, Missouri. It's a 1,600 seat theater, and it's just going to be amazing. We'll still be able to do every other row, and it's just going to be so great. I just hope everyone will come out and connect. And I'm encouraging people to come out 2 or 3 days before the conference. Oh, I wanted to say, the King's Castle was so gracious, Hillary. They have plays there. Right now they have New Jersey Nights, Frankie
Yeah, I
Avalon.
was going to ask you to talk about that.
Yeah, they have the Dublin Tenors and the Celtic Dancers from Ireland. They have Dancing Queens, which is all the music from the disco days of the 60s. And then they have Anthems of the Rock, which is your rock and roll from the 70s. So they have 4 shows going on while we're there.
Okay.
And the manager has extended a discount to our group for only $28 per show. They're normally $45.
Wonderful.
And then while you're there, the Sight and Sound Theater, which is an amazing theater that does live performances from the Bible, they are having Jesus right now. And I saw it, and it was the most spectacular play I've ever seen. And those tickets are a little bit more expensive. They're $60, but it's well worth every penny to go see Jesus while you're here in Branson, and go see Jesus, and come to Branson and find Jesus.
Right. Literally.
Yeah, literally come and see Jesus. And then we're right by Table Rock Lake, which is one of the most beautiful lakes in the Ozarks, and so much to do. And I teach water aerobics, so whoever comes and wants to stay at the lodges, I'll get up in the morning and do some water aerobics with us. So it will be really connecting, and it's for men and women. I want men to come too, for men and women.
All right. So couples can come.
Yes.
So this has been a really great time, Jill. I knew it would be good, because you're talking about hope, and I found myself over the last few weeks talking about hope to people, and then when I saw that we can celebrate the whole month talking about hope, I was like, yay, this is right on time, and we want to keep hope alive, through the months, every month following this one. But just to be mindful that we can have hope. It made me think of that song. We got high hopes, high apple pie in the sky hope. And even sometimes you don't feel like it's like that, but that's what hope is. It helps to pull you up, to pull you out, pull you forward. Hope is a good thing. And so for all of you that are watching, all of you that are thinking about going to this conference, Hope, Health, and Healing Conference or Retreat, as I have it here, August 20th through the 22nd, just go to www.braveheartworkshops.com, and all of the details that she spoke about are there in writing, so that you'll be able to share it with your loved ones, be able to bring a friend. And there's plenty of time to get ready for that at $84 a night. So that's
You,
what's
you know, and you know
great.
what I forgot to mention too, Hillary.
Yeah.
When you're on, if you know you can come, just pay the $84 now, and then I would encourage you to pay for the plays now, because they do fill up quite quickly here in Branson. So, and then if you're going to get lodging, you can get it on your own, or through the website you can get lodging at the subdivision. And what we'll do for you, so let's hypothetically, Hillary, you were going to come by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You could sign up for lodging here at the property. I think it's $128 per night. And then we'll put you in a lodge with others that don't have anyone they're coming with. And the lodges each have their own king bedrooms and king and bathrooms. So it's bedrooms and bathrooms that are almost like staying at a hotel, but they're lodges with a kitchen, living room, dining room. And then you're not like just staying in a hotel room all alone. So you'll feel like the fellowship. So even if you're
Yeah.
coming, so you can do that.
That's
And
the
then if you,
connections.
yeah, and then I wanted to say on the lodging, if you're going to use the lodging that way, just put the 128 down as a deposit. And then if you're going to stay for 4, 5, 6 nights, you can make 3 payments so that you don't have to come up with your lodging all at once. So just a thought. So I would sign up right away. And then that way you can make payments instead of waiting to the last minute and waiting until, like, say, July. Do it now.
Right.
You can make some payments towards your lodging.
Yes. So there you have it, folks. Hope, Health, and Healing. This is being hosted by Braveheart Workshops, which was founded by Jill Jacobs Reynolds, right here. My guest tonight, and my new sister. I'm just so thankful for all of the people that I've met during the pandemic. My God, I've met so many people. And Camille is another one that I met. And so she's saying we have to love because God is love. And thank you. Thank you for sharing, ladies. And so we thank you, Camille, for hanging out with us and hopefully being able to be at the retreat. She says, I'll be there if I'm in the country. And so, yeah,
Well, we're going to hijack you and keep you in the country, because
I
fabulous
did see that
Camille,
somewhere here.
fabulous Camille, the retreat cannot be without you, because you make it.
Yeah, she said, I
You
will be
make it,
there
Camille.
if I'm in the country. So we'll be glad to all be able to meet each other offline. That's going to be the greatest thing, meeting
Uh,
people offline that you've been talking to and dealing with and, having connections with online. I think that's such a beautiful thing. Each time that I have made those type of connections, it's just been really wonderful. And so this is our show for tonight. Let's get acquainted. And this is the National Month of Hope. And I'm going to allow you to just say, even though it's a little past, if you had, what's your final words about hope? I know you kind of said something, but this is it, your final word of inspiration, your final word of wisdom or encouragement to people about hope, health, and healing. Yeah, this is your moment.
my last words were, I have never had hope in my life like I do now since I asked Jesus into my heart. And he truly has shown me that he is, in my life, the hope of the world, and so is the church. And those are my final words on hope.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'll see you in just a minute, in just a couple few seconds here. Don't go away. So there we have it. Let's get acquainted with Jill Jacobs Reynolds, who is the founder of Brave Heart Workshops. And she's having this awesome retreat that we talked about. And you can watch the replay to get the link and be able to go and get all of the details. But I would like to say tonight that, hope, we really, it sounds like a catchy little phrase. And one, when I think about it, makes me smile because Jesse Jackson was so serious back in the 70s when he was said it. And he said it everywhere. I don't care where he was. We heard it and heard it and heard it and heard it. And I feel like we need to hear it and say it and say it and say it again, even now. Keep hope alive. Whatever it is that you want to do in your life, as long as you have breath in your body, you have an opportunity to work toward that thing, to meet the right people, or to make changes and realignments in your life, in your attitude, and your mindsets. Being able to be connected with the right person. It says only really needs to be one person that can help to change the whole trajectory of your life. Only just one connection, really. And so you might be just that one connection away. Keep hope alive is what I want to say to you. And I just remember that this is the National Month of Hope, where we're also wanting to have hope for ourselves, but we want to also help others to have hope by being helpful, being able to encourage and be like a lifeline where we can be to others that need their hope to be increased. So if you find any opportunities where you can help somebody else to keep their hope alive, be that change, be that one that is that lifeline to someone else. And so I'll be here next week with another guest. And you have to find out who that is. But I do have someone else that's coming in from Hawaii, and we're going to be talking about her avenue of hope, because we'll still be talking about hope. So that will be next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also on Tuesdays, you can connect with me here for the Vibrant Good Health Show, where I come as your Vibrant Life Coach and lymphologist to talk about different things that you can do to help your body help you live a more vibrant life, because I absolutely believe you got the power to do that. More vibrant health, more vibrant life. And so come next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for that show, and I'll see you. I'll see you then. I want to say I have something that's coming up. I'll be speaking this Saturday. Wow, I got two things happening this Saturday. Saturday at this April the 10th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m., 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, a um, health and wellness training. And I'm going to put this, it's going to be a Zoom call. I can also give you the information right here, health and wellness. And the Zoom code, if you're interested to come, 229-088-3311. And that's going to be at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Got a lot of good information there to help you for your health and wealth. Yeah, absolutely. And then we're having a pop-up health bounce movement at 8 p.m. Saturday. So if you're interested to know more, put bounce in the comments, or direct message me bounce, or direct message me health, and I'll know which one it is to give you the information, because this is going to be a wonderful Saturday to get some good information on how you can help your body help you to have that more vibrant life. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Camille, for hanging out with us. And I want to thank you to all my replay viewers. I care about you. Good night.